to all of you, and thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Early Edition, brought to you by Endless Living. And I'm your host, Michael Barnett, and this is episode 15. Happy Memorial Day, by the way. Today, we'll be focusing in on an event that has been mysterious to many people for a very long time. It is an event that most, if not all, people interested in Bible prophecy have had the keenest interest in. The prophecy of Ezekiel 38. When will it happen? Many of the Jews believe that it has already taken place, that the worst has already happened. I wish they could say they were right, but Ezekiel calls Israel the land of unwalled villages. Do you remember my friend a while back, Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz? This is what he said back in April of 2019.
The biggest prophecy of all is the fact that you and I are sitting here in the land of Israel. And 100 years ago, people would have thought you would be insane to say, oh yeah, two Jews would be sitting there in the land of Israel having a conversation. This is the biggest prophecy, the most unexpected, unanticipated, impossible thing. And we're sitting in it every single day. I was amazed. I asked Rav Yoel Schwartz, who's also he's pretty mainstream. People go according to his Torah rulings, and I asked him if we should, about fasting on Tisha B'Av, and he said it's forbidden to fast on Tisha B'Av. I was shocked. I said, why? He said, because look, if you take a bus in Jerusalem, kids are playing in the streets, old people are sitting there. We are living in the Messianic era.
Adam was referring to Zechariah chapter 8. Now listen to what he thinks that is.
Based on also what the Chafetz Chaim said, Rabbi Winston believes that these horrible things of Gog and Magog was World War I and II.
Honestly, I don't see this being a land of unwalled villages right now, do you? If you remember what I've been telling you for the past few episodes, one of the biggest reasons for all the fighting going on in Israel is because of this little patch of ground right here. In fact, back in 2000 at the Camp David Summit, Yasser Arafat told Bill Clinton that Solomon's temple never was in Jerusalem, but at Nablus. Of course, this is a lie, and Arafat knew this. It's really almost amusing how idiotic the Palestinians are when it comes to their attempts at trying to destroy Israel. It almost reminds me of Captain Kirk and what he said to Khan in Star Trek II.
You managed to kill just about everyone else, but like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target.
Honestly, I couldn't have thought of a better comparison to the many foolish attempts that they've made to destroy Israel. So far, 370 rockets have been fired at Israel recently. In 2019, that number was 190. The Iron Dome, a mobile all-weather air defense system, declared that it had destroyed 1,200 missiles fired at populated cities in Israel in October of 2014. Kind of reminds me of that scene from The Last Jedi, where Kylo Ren fires every last weapon at Luke to destroy him. Yeah, that kind of bad luck. The main short-range rockets you normally see on the news is around $300 to $800 each. The longer-range missile costs are not public, but I can only imagine. The best part is, are you ready for this? We're funding the rockets. Oh yeah, the Biden administration has made it very clear that it will restore Palestinian aid with $235 million US. Oh my goodness. It's just unbelievable, the insanity going on right now. I think I pinched myself more than once to make sure that I'm not in the middle of a nightmare. It's as if our country was aiming high, only to have the pilot hijacked by a maniac whose only logical reason for doing so is to put the plane into an unalterable nosedive for reasons he can't even remember as we plummet headlong into socialism and eventually communism. Can you think of a better explanation? Because I can't. Meanwhile, we're writing checks to Palestine, those poor little babies who have been in financial crisis for quite some time now because they're spending all their money on rockets instead of feeding their people. It's absolutely barbaric what leadership is doing, and it's just getting started. So when's this vicious cycle going to end? Well, going back to Gog and Magog, based on Ezekiel 38, these are the countries that are going to be involved in this attack. I don't have time to go into details this week, but to conclude for today, I can just about imagine that the reason why they are all going to unite like this is because they think that they can ultimately finish off Israel once and for all if they do so. Kind of a last-ditch effort. I think the reason why we see such an amazing attack in Ezekiel is because of the anti-Semitic mental disorder we're already witnessing in sending thousands of rockets into Israel, with Israel hardly receiving a single scratch from them. Of course, based on the Bible, God has his own version of the Iron Dome. Seriously, let's use our imagination for a minute. These anti-Semites are so used to the Iron Dome's defense capabilities that they are going to bring in all the airstrike muscle that they can muster, thinking that the Iron Dome is the only thing that they'll have to worry about. The Israeli sirens will be going off, just as you heard in the video that I showed you earlier. Then the Iron Dome kicks into action as the mighty approaching Air Force laughs it off. But then suddenly, they don't notice devices coming at them from below, but from above. Many more and much, much bigger balls of fire rain down and destroy the entire oncoming fleet. You know, God is already warning Russia of what he's able to do. This was a video taken of a meteor that came down over Russia on February 15th of 2013. Yeah, big ball of fire. But that wasn't the best part, or maybe the worst part. Listen to the shock. That thing busted windows, set off car alarms. Hey, it's coming, Russia. That was one. Imagine a storm of that. So when's this going to happen? Well, there are two theories. One is that these nations will attack after the peace treaty has been signed during the tribulation, which is why we see the land of unwalled villages. But now suppose that the Jewish people are close to being accurate in their speculation that Gog and Magog is past. Suppose that it's about to be. To me, that would fix the Temple Mount problem. How does Revelation say it? It'll fix it within 1 hour? Yeah. We'll look more into the details of this attack next time. See you then.